the fact that I'm gonna die is something that I've started reminding myself multiple times a day, and it's honestly made a world of difference. I'm gonna explain why right now. Alright, so we are back in the studio. Obviously, I'm happy to be back, and I basically have one more week left of college, and then we're pretty much free to make videos as much as we want. And basically what today's video is going to be about is the one thing that's absolutely inevitable in our lives, and that we know for absolute certainty. If you're watching this video right now, you know that you're going to die one day. You know for a fact that you're going to die one day. There's no doubt in your mind, and every day that you go through, you're one step closer to death. And this is a very painful realization to some people, but honestly, it's not painful at all. It's just a fact. And the sooner we accept this and we implement this into our lives, the more we can actually grow from this and improve ourselves. Whenever I'm in an uncomfortable situation, like for example in a cold shower, doing homework that I don't want to do, or even what I just did, I made this entire video already and it didn't record, which is an issue that I've dealt with throughout my whole YouTube career. I don't know exactly why this happens, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna die one day. So why would I dwell on something that is already in the past? And I watched a really impactful video by Cole Hastings, who is one of the biggest self-improvement YouTubers on the platform. And basically what he said was that when you're an old man and you're close to death, you're gonna have these regrets of not achieving what you wanted to achieve. And the way he backed this up is by asking people around Austin, Texas, who were on the older side, if they regret anything in their lives that they care to share. And basically, they all said a similar thing. They regretted not following their heart, and they regretted not doing what they truly wanted to do. In this regret, this regret never had to do with money, fame, fortune, any of the stuff that we attribute so much of our energy towards. Never had to do with the car they were driving, the house they had. And what we have to realize is that regrets come from not doing what we truly want to do. And you guys can take this message however you want and run with it, right? You could think that telling yourself that you're gonna die every day is nihilistic, because why would we do anything if we're just gonna die one day? But I have the complete opposite approach. If we're gonna die one day, what's the point in holding ourselves back and not conquering these fears and doing what we want to do with our lives? Why even bother holding back if we're just one day gonna end up in the same position we would have ended up if we didn't hold back, but would have been a lot happier for it? That's really what I've been realizing lately. And basically all these fears and all these doubts that we have are completely perpetuated by our brains. Our brains are a very stupid thing. Like, we're intelligent in the ways that we can articulate, but in terms of our mindset, our brain plays so many tricks on us, like deep psychological tricks that some of us are not even aware of. So if you tell your brain every day that you're gonna die, basically what that does is it allows you to live in the present moment instead of worrying about everything that's gonna happen in the future. And this is something that I really struggle with, is worrying about the future. I worry about the future far more than I should. I'm sure some of you guys do too. It's a very common human flaw. And I think this is one of the most powerful messages that you can send to yourself. Because just saying blanketly that everything is going to be okay is good and all, but it doesn't really provide any context for why it's going to be okay. Like, unless you have some sort of faith in a higher power or something else of the sort, why would everything magically work itself out? I think telling ourselves that we're going to die is a lot more truthful and a lot more realistic. And in a realistic and truthful doctrine, there's belief, right? We actually believe that we're going to die one day, and anything that we believe in is something that can cause us to do a lot of good in the world. So, I think that you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. And really, the way I figured out that this mindset shift was so essential was through reading books. And in some of the books I read, they articulated this concept of the fact that you're going to die one day no matter what you do, and that death is completely inevitable, so why waste life, right? We only have a certain amount of time allotted here on this earth, so why waste it? It's basically the overarching message of today. And I think it's a very powerful one, man. I think it's very underrated as well. People don't give death enough credit. We either completely block out this concept, or we have some sort of experience with it but don't want to address it. But really, it's no one's fault. Humans were designed to only live a certain amount of time, like most living, breathing things. So it's just a fact of life. And I think with that being said, that's pretty much all I have today for this video. If I keep on rambling on, I'm just going to reiterate a lot of the same things. But really, when you're jumping into that cold shower and you're doing all these uncomfortable things like we on self-improvement frequently do, just tell yourself that you're going to die one day. And when you're in that spot, you will not be thinking of this discomfort that you're facing right now, because you will already have overcome it. And especially when we're getting too caught up in materialistic goods and all this other nonsense, that's just part of the matrix to keep us as wage slaves. We really just have to realize that the life that we want to live is possible, and we can achieve it with the right amount of work and the right mindset. And that's a beautiful place to end off. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.